Hello and welcome to another Discord bot tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a modmail bot. Modmail allows server members to DM server moderators through a bot rather than through actual DMs. Before we get started, I want to introduce webhost.sh, who is the sponsor for this video. Webhost.sh offers a variety of hosting services, including web hosting, virtual private servers, and most importantly, Discord bot servers. If you're interested in any of these products, be sure to click the link in the description and use my code RoboticNation at checkout for 20% off your first month's payment. Alright, let's get started. Here we are in PyCharm. I have my basic template set up here. I'm importing Discord. I'm setting client equal to discord.client, and I have my client.run. For this project, I found that we actually don't need the commands library. However, if you want to combine your modmail script with your other Discord bot commands, then you're going to want to import the commands library, as well as change this client to commands.bot and then your command prefix. Before we start coding, we're actually going to go to our server that we want to add our modmail functionality to and create a channel for our modmail. So I'm just going to create a channel and I'm going to call it modmail. Now usually you would have this channel privated so that only the moderators could access it and type in it. However, since I'm only in the server with my bot, there's really no need to make it private. But if you're making it private, just make sure that your bot has access to the channel by either making sure the bot has a role that allows the bot to read the messages in this channel and send messages to this channel. We're going to be using the onMessage event as a foundation for this modmail project. When I was creating this project, I was trying to look for an event that would trigger when a user DMs the bot. However, I actually learned that you can do this through the onMessage event. The onMessage event is normally triggered when someone sends a message to a server that the bot is in. However, it's also going to get triggered when a user DMs the bot. So we can use this functionality to create our modmail project. So I'm going to start by creating that event. And I'm going to create my asynchronous function, pass in my message, and there we have our event. So the first thing we want to do is detect whether the message that has been sent was sent as a DM to the bot, or if it was just sent in the server a bot was in. In order for our modmail project to work, we need to differentiate between those two messages. So what we can actually do is use a property of the message.channel object called type that allows us to determine the type of channel the message was sent in. So we're going to create an if statement and we'll say if message.channel.type is equal to, now there's multiple channel types, you can see them in the Discord Pi documentation, but a DM channel type is called private. And we're also going to make sure that this is a string. It may be a string already, however, I'm just going to make sure so I don't get any errors. So now we have our if statement here, detecting when a message is sent as a DM to the bot. Now that we know that the user is DMing the bot, we need to get this message and send it to the modmail channel in our server. So to do that, we're going to need to somehow get the modmail channel. And we can do this by using one of the utility functions that the Discord Pi library offers. So I'm going to create a variable called modmail_channel, and I'm going to set this equal to discord.utils, and then I'm going to use the get method of the discord.utils object. And what this method does, it essentially iterates through a list of maybe channels, guilds, all the information that our bot has access to. It can even filter through server members. So we're going to search through the channels or iterate through them, and we're going to find the channel that is named modmail. So first, to iterate through all of the channels that this bot has access to, I can say client.get_all channels, and then I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to set name equal to mod-mail. And that is the name of the channel we created earlier, so that's right here. Now, since my bot is only being used in one server, this is going to work for me. However, if your bot is widely used in many servers, you may run into errors here, because you could have multiple servers that have a channel named modmail, and then you're going to run into errors. So a way to fix this is by also passing in the guild that this member is a part of who sent the message. And if you want to see how to do that, you can head over to the Discord Pi documentations, go to the utility functions, and they actually give you a few examples of how to use this get method. Now that we have this channel here, we're able to send the message that the user DM'd to the bot to the modmail channel. So what we can do is say await modmail_channel.send, and then I'm just going to first display the user's name who sent this DM. So we'll say message.author.display_name. I'm just going to put that in brackets. And then we are going to add on the message.content. So again, we're getting this message parameter from the message parameter here. So let's run this code and see if this is working. Our bot's online. Here I'm in my DMs with TutorialBot. I have a few images sent to him because I was just testing this mod mail project. But if I want to send a message, I can say hey, and then you can see we get this notif here that it appears in the server. So it's going to say the name of the person who sent this message and then the message itself in this mod mail channel. Alright, so we have the first part of this project done. We're able to send the user's DMs to the bot to the mod mail channel of the server. However, we also need to be able to send messages back to the user from the mod mail channel. So what I'm going to do is create an elif, and first I'm going to check if the message.channel is equal to mod-mail, and I'm going to check if the message.content starts with this less than character. So the reason I'm doing this is first, so if I want to respond to this person, what I'm going to do is mention them. So I'll say @Alexa, and then I'm going to type my message that I want to send back. So the reason that I have this and message.content.starts with this less than sign is because when I mention someone, this is actually going to print as a string something like this. It'll have the less than sign and then the user ID and then this greater than sign. The string is going to print something like this. So basically, I'm just checking if someone was mentioned in the message by checking if it starts with this less than sign. Now what we need to do is write the code that allows us to find the member that we want to send a message to based on the mention that we used in the message, and then send it to that person as a DM through the bot. So let's first get the person that we want to send this message to as a DM. Now there's a really easy way to do this. Actually, when first creating this modmail project, I did it the hard way. However, I realized that there's a very simple way to do this. So I'm going to create a variable called member_object, and I'm going to set that equal to message.mentions, and then the 0th index of mentions. So message.mentions, this is a property of the message class, and what it essentially returns is an array of all of the mentions in a message. So a mention is when you add the user in a message. So what we're doing here is getting the first mention in a message, because when we want to respond to a user, we're going to first add them and then put our message. And we're setting that to a member object. And this is really great because this message.mentions property returns a user object instead of just a string or just the user's name, and that user object allows us to easily send a message to the user. There's a few things we need to do to separate this mention from the actual message content itself. So we're going to have to do a little bit of some string manipulation, but it's only a few lines of code, so don't worry. First, we're going to find the index of the place where we want to split the mention and the message content. So we'll say index is equal to message.content.index, and then inside of here we're going to put some quotations with a space in between. So what this is basically saying is get the index of the first space in the message. So the first space is going to occur right after we at a user and put our message. So that is going to be the separator, and that's how we're detecting it. Next, I'm just going to create a string variable and set it to message.content so it's a little easier to work with. Next, I'm going to create a variable called mod_message, and I'm going to set that equal to the right half of the string, which is also the message we send. So what I'm basically doing here is taking this, our message content, and setting it to its own variable so it's split from this mention here, and we don't send the mention accidentally to the user. And we can do that by setting mod_message to string, and then we put these brackets, and inside of these brackets we're going to put index, so that is the position of our space, and then we're going to put a colon. So this basically means cut the string so that we're only taking the part from the index to the very end of the string. Now that we have our message formatted, we can send it to the user through DM. So we'll say await member_object, so that's the user we want to send this to, .send, and then we're going to put some formatting, so we'll have these brackets, we'll add in the message.author.displayname, and we'll also add on the mod message. So let's rerun this code and see if it's working. So what I'm going to do is head to my modmail channel. I'm going to at the user I want to respond to, so that's Alexa, and I'm just going to say hi. And when we do that, we do get a message from the bot that says Alexa said hi. But we also get this other message in the server that we don't necessarily want, because we forgot to do one thing, and that is in our onMessage event, we want to make sure that the bot isn't responding to itself. So what we're going to do here is say if message.author is equal to client.user, which is the bot. Then we're just going to return. So if we rerun this, that should fix our problem. So I'm going to mention the user I want to send the message to again, type my message, and we should get that message in here, in our DMs from TutorialBot. And then I could respond with hi, and I'll get that message in here. Right now, we have a working command. So if you really wanted to, you could stop right here. But one thing that causes errors with this command is when we want to send files to each other through modmail. And I would advise you to add this to your bot, the ability to use files with modmail, because files can be really important. A lot of times you want to send pictures. I know in my Discord server, a lot of times we're helping each other with code, so we need to send pictures of our errors, of our screens. So that's why it's important to be able to send files. So I'm going to show you how you can do that with your bot. To account for attachments, we're going to use a property of the message object again. And this property is message.attachments. This works a lot like message.mentions because it returns an array of all the attachments that the user sent in the message. So first I'm going to go to my if statement here, where we check if our channel is private or not. And at the beginning of this if statement, I'm going to add in another if statement saying if our message.attachments is not equal to, so here we want to make sure that our message.attachments is not equal to an empty array. So to do that, I'm going to first create a variable that is just an empty array. So I'm going to say empty underscore array. And I'm going to set that equal to just these two brackets here. So that means that this is an empty array. And then I'm going to go back to my if statement. And I'm going to check if the message.attachments is not equal to this. So if it's not equal to an empty array, that means that we have attachments. So the code inside here will deal with getting those attachments and sending them. So essentially what we want to do here is filter through the attachments and send them one by one to the modmail channel. So first, to make it a little cleaner, I'm going to create a variable called files, and I'm going to set that equal to message.attachments. And then I'm going to create a for loop that will iterate through this files array and send each of the files as a message. So I'll say for file in files, and then here inside of here I'm going to say await mod mail underscore channel dot send, and in here we're actually going to send the URL property of each of our attachments. So we can get that by saying file.url. Now it's giving me an error here because this modmail channel variable needs to be higher up in the script. So I'm just going to put it right under the empty array. So now that I have this if statement dealing with the attachments, I'm going to want to put this await mod mail underscore channel dot send in an else if. So I'll say elif, or I'll just say else actually, and then we're going to indent here, and that should be good. Now we're going to use the same code that we have here in this elif. So we're going to say if message.attachments is not equal to the empty array. We're going to say files is equal to message.attachments, and we'll say for file in files await member underscore object dot send, and then we'll send our files. And then we'll have this other code in our else. And there we go. One more thing we want to add in here is right before the for loop for each of these attachment sections, we want to send the name of the user who's sending this message to the channel. So we'll say await modmail channel dot send, and then we'll format it like we formatted the other ones. Message.author.displayname. I'm going to copy and paste this into the other if statement. Alright, so this is our code right here. Let's run it. I head into Discord. Just want to make sure everything is working, so I'm going to ping myself and then say hi. And then I get a message here, and I can say hello back, and I'm going to get a message here. Now if I want to send an attachment, all I have to do is ping the person, and then I'm going to upload an attachment. So I'm going to upload this logo. And then what it's going to do is send me that attachment. There actually is one thing I missed here. I think I sent this in the wrong channel. So let's go back to the code and see what's happening. So for the second one here, instead of sending it to the modmail channel, we're going to want to send that to the user. So we'll say member underscore object. So let's run this again and see what happens. So again, I'm going to mention the person. I'm going to upload my picture. And then if I go back, I can see that it's telling me who sent this image, and then it displays the image. I can also send back images, so I'm going to send back one image. Let me try to send back 2 images actually. So I'll send back these 2 images, upload these. So when I do that and I go back, we can see that in our modmail channel, these 2 images were both sent. So this is essentially how you can create a modmail bot for your server. This is really only 38 lines of code, and there is a few spaces in here, so it's not that much code, but it still offers a lot of functionality, and I encourage you to add on to this modmail project. You can make it so that the user has to wait a specific amount of time before they're allowed to send another message. All those things can be done with this basic modmail structure right here. All the code will be on GitHub, and that link will be in the description, so feel free to download it. Thank you for watching, and see you next video.